everyone. In this tutorial, we're going to see what's probably one of the most atypical uses of a PDF document, but still supported by the standard, and of course also by PDFDocument. That is the creation of presentations where we can even set the kind of transition to apply between slides. But why would we want to use a PDF document for that? Well, except for the images, all of the contents of a PDF are vectorial, so it guarantees the highest quality no matter the resolution set in the display or projector used in the presentation. In addition, the resulting file size will be in general really small, and because it's a standard, it also guarantees to be able to open and play the presentation from any kind of device that supports it. So let's put this into practice through the creation of a simple presentation composed by a total of 4 slides. As you can see here, the first thing we do is create a new PDF document instance with a page size of 1920 by 1080 points. Next, we assign the graphic context from the PDF document instance to a regular graphics variable, so we'll be able to use the methods and properties we already know from that class in order to render the contents of the PDF document pages. We'll also set the embedded fonts property to true. That way, the guaranteed PDF document will embed the used font data, so they'll keep rendering even while the computer is used to play the presentation that doesn't even have the fonts installed. Next, let's set our preferences in the PDF document instance to instruct the viewer app how it should display the document once it's opened. Because it's a presentation, we want it to be opened at full screen, so we'll need to create a new instance from the PDF viewer options for that, and we're going to set the full screen property to true. Then we only need to assign that instance to the viewer options property on the PDF document instance. There are many more options that you can set in the viewer options, such as centering the window for that kind of layout if we want to display the sidebar, the toolbar, or even displaying the title of the document amongst many others. From this point on, the next lines of code are simple calls to the methods that will render the main parts or content for the slides for our particular presentation. As you can see, a total of 4 slides are going to be the ones that we're going to change the text of the main topic displayed on every one of these. Additionally, all of these slides will share the same background and header, something done by the draw page background and draw top header methods. If we look into the code from the draw page background, we can see that everything it does is drawing a linear gradient ranging from black color in the top to light gray in the bottom. And because we'll use the same linear gradient every time, it makes sense to assign a static label to it instead of using a variable. Then the linear gradient is set to the brush property on the received graphics context and used as the filling color for drawing a rectangle covering all of the area of the current page. Okay, so let's see the code from the draw top header method, which is the contents that's rendered on every page. It's going to draw the PDF document text assigned to a constant, and then we can call the draw upper band method. That method will simply draw a picture added to the project behind the text with the opacity value of 50%. At the coordinates received in the X and Y parameters. Additionally, this method will also be in charge of drawing a logo in the lower left area of the page. And for drawing the slide's content itself, this is done by the draw topic method, passing along the graphic context to draw into and the text to render. As you can see, the code in that method is quite simple. It simply sets the name of the font to be used to draw the text, the font size, and then also sets the linear gradient to be used as the filling color. That technique is basically the same that we did before, assigning the linear gradient to a static instead of a variable, and then using it as the current brush for the graphic context. Here we call the next page method every time after drawing a new slide. The function of that method is simply to add a new page to the PDF document instance calling then to the methods that are in charge of drawing all of the common items on the slides. So we repeat that same scheme for every one of the 4 slides of our presentation. Finally, we find the method that will be in charge of adding the transitions between all of our slides. Add transitions. If we look at the code from that method, we can see how it creates a new instance from the PDF transition class using the styles enumerator to set the type of transition to fade with the duration of 1 second. Although we are used to the same transition for all of our slides, you'll be able to use any of the supported transition styles offered by the PDF standard in your own projects. Finally, and because the first page of a PDF starts at page 1, we simply need to set the transition instance on every one of the pages, calling the transition at method on the received PDF document instance. And that's all. It's that simple. If we run our example project, we can see how the resulting PDF document file size is quite small. Then when we open the document in Acrobat Reader, for example, we can see how it detects that the document has set the full screen viewer mode, asking us if we really want to use it. And once we confirm that option, the presentation will start at the first slide. It will also play the transitions that are set between each of the 4 slides of our PDF document. That's all. As you saw, creating your own presentations is also possible using PDFDocument on Xojo with desktop, web, iOS, and console projects, as well as Raspberry Pi. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments below.